Hi everyone, it's Kathy. Welcome to Kathy's Happy Home. Today I'm going to do another craft with you. So let me show you what it is. And it is a thankful sign. Here are the instructions. And I'll show you all the pieces that they gave me. Piece of sandpaper. And these are foam strips. I think that they're used to put under the little part that stands out. This little piece of wood here. There's the thankful decal. And a stick to rub it down onto the wood. There are these sponges to apply the paint, some masking tape for spacing, and black and white paint, lots of black and white paint, and a paintbrush. And of course, there's the directions. It looks like this is going to take me about 4 days to do. The first thing I need to do is remove the backer from the frame. And then I'm going to lightly sand the frame and this little wooden piece. So these are painted. It said that it may need 2 coats of paint, and of course the white, well, they had white color on it, so I did not need it on that. But this little piece here, I did have to put 2 coats on. And of course, you know, I got paint on me. Now the frame is done. So I'm going to leave it dry until tomorrow morning, and then we'll carry on. In the meantime, I'll be washing my hands. It's a dreary, rainy day. So I can't work out in the yard, so I'm going to continue on with my craft. And if you remember, we're doing the thankful sign. And today I'm going to work on making that gingham background that you see there. It looks complicated. We'll just see just how hard it actually is. It says to place the backer on the work surface, which I've done, and then with a ruler and pencil mark the long edges at 6 and 7 inches. So here's my pencil, here's my ruler, and we'll get doing that. Now that I've done that, the next thing is to put this blue tape between these marks that I've made. Then, using this as a spacer, I make stripes like this all the way down the backer board. It said to press it down firmly, especially along the edges, and that's what I did. Now it says to squeeze an entire tube of white paint onto a paper plate and add a very little bit of black paint and mix together to create a light gray that I like. So here's the white paint, and I'm going to add just a touch of the black. I mixed it up, and this looks kind of nice. So I'm going to go with that. I changed my mind. I thought it was a little bit too dark, so I added some more white in, and now I'm happy with it. Now I use one of these cosmetic sponges, and I put this gray paint in between all the tape. I tried using the sponge, but I was having trouble with it, and I'm finding it much easier to just use the brush to put this paint on. I thought, let me try to use the sponge to give it a finished look. But you can see it just streaks it, which I'm not happy with. And, you know, this is my project. And the thing with doing your own projects is that you can do it any way you want. It's yours, it's your creation. And so, I'm just going to use the brush. I think it comes out much, much better. So, this step is finished, and it says to let it dry. So that's what I'll be doing, and I will wash out the brush so it doesn't get hard. The paint is dry, so I'm going to remove the strips now. It did dry a little darker than I expected, but let's see if we can work with this. Okay, here we are. I turned on the light in back of me, so you're seeing the shadow, but it turned out pretty good. And now I'm going to make the tape the other direction, and I'm going to make a darker gray paint. All the stripes are taped out, and this gray is definitely darker than that gray. So we're going to go with that. So the second gray stripe is painted, and now I have to let that dry overnight, and we will finish this up tomorrow. Here it is evening, and this is the first chance I've had all day to sit down to work on my craft. But the next part is, let me get this off here. The next part is to put the tape on in the opposite direction while I leave the tape on that I just did, and then paint the squares black. Unfortunately, this turned out a lot darker than I expected, but hopefully the black will show up and it will turn out looking something like this. I hope. For this part, I'm using all black. But I don't know, this gray looks awfully black to me, so let's see how it turns out. Well, it is blacker, and I sure hope that I have this tape on correctly. Well, there it is. Sorry about the orange light, that's from the overhead light in the kitchen. So, we'll see how this goes. I have to let it dry overnight, and I'm very anxious to see it, so first thing in the morning, you know I'm going to be ripping that tape off. Good morning. Well, it's time to take off the tape and see how my gingham turned out. I sure hope it turned out good. I'm a little anxious about this. Now, I think I have to take off these first, yeah. Well, so far so good. Let me take these off and then I'll be right back. Okay, so far so good. Now let's take it off the other direction. And hopefully this worked. I think it did. Although that seemed to have bled some. Well, it did bleed in a couple of places here. But overall, I'm very happy with it. I think it turned out great. This part here is going to be covered up, so I'm not too worried about this, but I don't know how I would fix this. I don't think I could make it exactly this color, and I really don't know what to do about it. Maybe I'll just leave it and do what the Amish say. There's no perfect person on earth. Only God is perfect, and this is just showing my imperfection. But maybe I'll try to get some light gray paint, if I could get the same amount of white and black, and try to touch that up. I had thrown away the palette, but I found it in the trash, and now, since there's still some of this on here, I'm going to try to mix up another batch that matches this. What do you think? Is that close? I'm going to try it anyhow, see how it works. It's not perfect, but it's an awful lot better. So before I mess it up any further, this is where we're going to leave it. While that's drying, we're going to go on to the finishing part, and it's putting the backer into the frame. And there you go. Maybe I'll try to touch up that little bit right there. Okay, I'm happy with it now. Now on to the next thing. Slowly remove the backing paper from the rub-on sheet and carefully center the sheet on the painted wood rectangle with a sticky side face down. Firmly rub over the top of the clear film with the craft stick, releasing design onto rectangle. And then I have to check on it and continue until the entire rub-on is released onto the wood. I don't know why they gave me 2 of these, but I guess it's pretty good in case I mess one of them up. So let me peel this off and put it on this piece of wood. That looks pretty centered to me. So let me start rubbing the transfer. And I hope this works. It looks like it's working. Okay, I have the rest of it to do. I ended up using both the transfers, and it still didn't all transfer off. So, my trusty black Sharpie I filled in, and I think it looks pretty good. Now to attach it to the back. I put these adhesive foam strips on the back. In the picture they have 5, and I think 3 is fine. Now I'm going to place it and see where I want to put it before I actually stick it down. And here it is. For all the trouble I had, it really actually turned out looking pretty good. And here it is. It goes perfect with the little pumpkin I bought on our last trip to Lancaster. I didn't even notice that had a black and white gingham bow until I was doing this. I thought, oh, that'll work. Over here's the little star that I got. And underneath is a fall candle holder that I've had for a long time. I hope you enjoyed that craft. It was fun to make, a little frustrating at times, but it was still fun. And I have more coming, so stay tuned. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.